my friends, is World Spawn on my Terraria Let's Play world. And it's going to be where we're spending the vast majority of today's upcoming episode. I want to finally make the massive greenhouse build I've been on about for the longest time. So welcome to another Terraria video coming at you from the Let's Play world here. I do hope you folks are having a fantastic day, and without further ado, we're going to dive straight into our building blocks chest so we can figure out what exactly we want to be making our greenhouse out of. I think the logical thing to do is glass, right? In addition to that, though, maybe the bottom foundations of the greenhouse could be stone slabs. Or maybe we see what 1.4.5 blocks we could potentially work with. Either way, today's episode promises to be an awesome one. We've got a big build to come, and I'm very, very excited to begin working on it. So as always, if you folks do find yourselves enjoying these episodes, I'd very much appreciate it if you'd consider dropping a like beneath the video. And a massive thank you to all of you folks who have been supporting these episodes thus far. I really do appreciate it a lot. Alrighty, folks, so having scoured the wiki for blocks that look cool and are more to the point new for 1.4.5, I decided that it's actually between two blocks for the greenhouse platform. The first of which is something we have used before on my old Master Summoner playthrough. That is the office block. They're very, very easy to make. You need only get yourself some wood and some gel. The other option, though, is far more unique and definitely something I haven't used before. If I was to grab myself out some bones, we've got the stone needed already, and then cobwebs, and then we head on over to a bone welder. Check this out. Gothic bricks, and there's a brand new Gothic set of furniture also added alongside them, all of which is brand new for 1.4.5. So, do we want to go ahead and craft some of these bad boys up and see how they look? I think that'd be a cool idea. Ooh. Okay, now that is a cool looking texture, isn't it? A whole bunch of the Gothic blocks all together. In fact, is it just me, or does the left and far right-hand side look like they're pillars, and then the center is just sort of, I don't know, held up? I mean, if so, I won't lie, that is actually pretty darn cool. I think it goes without saying it would be better if we could see these brand new blocks in the daylight, but unfortunately it's nighttime. But instead of going ahead and sleeping the night away, I want to quickly see if I can't get a fishing quest done. We need to get ourselves over to the corruption. Because we have such a limited amount of time here. Oh, wait, okay, very good. I like it when we start off strong. Because we have such a limited amount of time here, it might just... Wait, what the heck? Okay! Turns out we've got ourselves a meteorite biome somewhere nearby. Well, that's not going to put a spanner in the works, is it? Oh, come on, man. All right, we're going to have to do it over here then, aren't we? But yeah, because we've got such a limited amount of time, I might not wind up being able to get myself the 4 quest fish I typically try to go for. Do you know what? This is a complete dud, my friends. I'm not about to die. That's just silly. All right. Eater of plankton. Let's get it handed in. And fishing potion and silent fish. Legends say batteries died ages ago? Unfortunately, again, if that's a reference, it's completely wasted on me. But anyway, let's go ahead and put it up. And yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. I like that. It's a little fish on a board. And here we are with a brand new day. What you got for me this time, buddy? The catfish caught at the jungle surface. We don't have a surface jungle lake. Unfortunately, this one down here counts as an underground lake, so we're not going to be getting the catfish from there. So checking out these Gothic blocks in the daytime. Yeah, they look really, really cool, don't they? So if I was to leave it as a 1 block wide pillar... Whoa, look at that. It almost becomes like a spear, doesn't it? That's kind of cool. And then you connect them all up. And then, yeah, the left and right side become almost like pillars. Unfortunately, though, I'm not entirely sure Gothic bricks would work for a greenhouse. So instead, I think we're going to go for office blocks. We've got plenty of resources to be able to make a whole ton of these. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. So here we are. world spawn. Let's go ahead and start off with the sort of base platform. So the first thing I want to mention is this bottom area is going to be entirely for like decorations and being able to craft the potions themselves. The only slight annoyance is that the alchemy flask is 4 blocks wide and not 3 blocks wide. That means it won't be perfectly centered on world spawn here, which, I won't lie, kind of drives me a little bit nuts, but oh well. Maybe we should just see it as a challenge and see if we can't make it work in some other way. But anyways, what I want to do, decorations-wise, is we have ourselves a nice large area at the bottom, either side, and then we try to use something that I haven't ever tried to use before in 1.4.5, and that is the new decorative dangling bottle type things, whereby you can put items inside the bottles. I seem to recall seeing a 1.4.5 spoiler, which suggests that those are being added, but yeah, I don't actually know how to make them just yet. That's something I'm gonna have to figure out. But ultimately, the fact of the matter is, I really do want to try and get on top of trying to use the brand new 1.4.5 stuff. So that's why I'm trying to think of this stuff on camera rather than me just sort of getting on with it with sort of the typical resources I use. So hopefully that's okay with you folks. For now though, let's try and figure out these potion ingredient growing areas. I think 30 blocks wide for each bank, and then we have multiple banks of each potion ingredient, especially sort of the higher end, more useful ones like Daybloom and Deathweed. I've just realised something. I'm being a bit of a doofus brain here. There's nothing stopping us from just flat out putting down a bunch of potion planter thingies, right? And do you know what? Instead of doing what I normally do, which is just using Daybloom planter boxes, maybe just for once, I should actually coordinate the potion ingredients, right? So we could have ourselves, I don't know, I'm going to say 3 banks of 30 times Daybloom and 3 banks of 30 times Deathweed. Then I'm gonna say 2 banks of 30 times Moonglow, Blinky Plant, Waterleaf, and Fire Blossom. And then potentially at sort of the top center of this eventual build, we can have ourselves a bunch of Shiverthorn in the remaining spaces. Yeah! Dude, the amount of potion ingredients we're going to be growing in here is going to be wild! As you can see, the first of the potion ingredient growing area banks of epicness has been taken care of. This one, of course, is the Daybloom one. We're going to have 90 Daybloom plants in this area. That is actually going to be stupid. And just doing the numbers real quick, trying to tot up all the rest of it. So we got 2 times 90 with the sort of more useful potion ingredients, in my opinion. Then we've got 4 times 60. And then the only one I can't figure out is the Shiverthorn just yet, because I don't really have any idea as to how many I'll be able to put down at the top center eventually. But without the Shiverthorn, we've got 180 plus 240, which is 420. 420 potion ingredients growing at once in here. And then, of course, adding back on the Shiverthorn will probably take it to over 500, which is just dumb for a single-player world. Whoa! Look at this gothic furniture set. That is looking awesome! What I'm looking for is lighting, and to see, more to the point, if it would fit the aesthetic of this place. My goodness me, will you lot just give up? Do you know what? I actually really like the gothic lighting. I like the fact that it's got kind of a bit of a yellowish tinge to it. I think it looks great, I really do. So we might not necessarily be using the gothic blocks for the build itself, but the lighting? Yeah. My only slight concern is in the center of these little potion growth banks. There's not a lot of lighting going on. In fact, it's a little bit on the dark side, isn't it? Maybe we need to split these banks, you know? Maybe do 3 times 15, then another 3 times 15. Then in the center, we have ourselves some more lighting. Yeah, splitting up the banks. That works quite nicely, I think. A little bit more light for each area. Turns out we did not have enough office blocks from all of the many hundreds that I made. In fact, I would almost go as far as to say that we've barely made a scratch here. But anyways, check it out. In the meantime, bit of a progress update, plenty of lighting going on, and I've got a whole bunch more of the growth banks set up, and oh my goodness me, is this looking better and better as time goes on. There's still a heck of a lot more still to be done though, my friends, so I guess for the first time in a very long time, it might actually be time for me to chop down some trees. Unfortunately, for me, that means demolishing my world, because this is legendary mode, and sometimes live bombs can drop from trees. This does remind me, however, that setting up a proper tree farm is definitely something I do want to do, and we need to try and factor in the idea that, yes, sometimes the trees drop live bombs, so we need kind of like an explosion-proof base beneath each of the tree growth areas, right? That way, I don't have to keep, like, replacing a whole bunch of... Oh, look at that. Literally the very first tree. Unbelievable. Yeah, look at that. 10 dirt blocks. Basically, like, 20 blocks per tree if it winds up spawning a live bomb. That's how much we're going to have to replace. Jeez. As I mentioned in a previous episode, it turns out dungeon bricks are impervious to explosions. So, underneath all of the various tree growing areas, I guess that'll be what we have to use. At least I'm being green-thumbed about my tree chopping, in that my axe of regrowth is also replanting the saplings. Yeah, who says that this is ruthless deforestation, eh? I mean, it might be ruthless in the way of live bombs being dropped, but aside from that, all is well. Just under 1,200 bits of wood now. Hopefully that'll last us until the end of the episode, at the very least. I hope. Here we go, my friends. This is what I was on about before. The item flasks can be placed. Right-click to place an item in the item flask. Press up, down to cycle through placement styles. Ooh. So, my idea with these bad boys is to just display as many different types of potion you can get inside of this game. So the big question is, how big are they, like, in the world here? So, 3 by 3 by the looks of it. Oh, my word. Okay, that's really freaking cool, actually. So you got kind of like science flask kind of dealio. I'm sure that's a proper name for it. We've got ourselves, I don't even know what to call that. And then we've got ourselves like a circular one. That's really awesome. Oh, for goodness sake, it's boulder raining now. Dude, I'm trying to build. The dangerous thing as well is the fact I don't have a roof on this thing yet. So as soon as I get to the top layer of the greenhouse, I'm going to get killed by boulders. In which case, I haven't got a great deal of choice, have I? Aside from to work down here. What a load of poo! The interesting thing is, yes, the alchemy flask is 4 blocks wide, but sort of the main area of it is 3 blocks wide. So honestly, I don't feel too bad about just, like, placing that there. In my mind, that's as centered as it needs to be. And then I'm thinking either side, we could have ourselves chests. Maybe one side could be the potion ingredients, and the other side could be the buff potions themselves. Oh, very interesting. So you can't just put any items into the flasks. You can only put, like, blocks and such. Like, actual items. Like, in that one, we've got ourselves a little acorn. Yeah, okay. Okay, I kind of like it. Has it finally stopped boulder raining? It looks like it. Or more so, I certainly hope so. Because we are now going to attempt to get on with the roof of this thing. Oh, not again! I'm trying to craft myself some sand! Oh, the boulders. The never-ending boulders. Someone is having a really good laugh at my expense, aren't they? Shell pile can be extractinated. I did not know that. All right, well, what do we get? Oh, literally just sand blocks. Huh, okay. Come on, Python, persevere. Oh, my word. As soon as I get the roof connect... Oh, you... Come on. Honestly, I wouldn't even suggest that the higher difficulty of the bosses is the most annoying thing. Is the most annoying thing in Legendary mode. Boulder Rain, my friends. Boulder Rain is by far the most annoying thing about Legendary mode. Oh my goodness me. Also, I've come to realize we don't have any more Honeyfin, which means we have no more healing. We should probably correct that. Where's our 100 healing pots? There they are. Beautiful. Needless to say, I need to go fishing for some more Honeyfin because they are just better than the 100 healing pots. There we are. Finally, our greenhouse build has a freaking roof. Try and get me now, Boulder Rain, you friggin' turd. Hey, look at that. It actually is trying it as well. Right on cue. It can't get to me there. Oh, well, okay. Bouncing boulders can drop down as well, apparently. But yeah, ultimately, we are now boulder-proof. Finally. And finally, my friends, that's all 7 potion ingredient growing banks all placed down. Turns out 60 is the amount of Shiverthorn planters we have here. So what's the maths on the total amount of potion ingredients we have now? 180 for down here, and then 5 times 60 here. That totals up to, I'd like to say 480? Is that correct? We've got 480 growth areas? Wow. But you know what? It's not 500, is it? So let's extend all of these potion planters by 5 at the top here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 485. That's 490. And then we're going over to the right-hand side here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 495. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 500. Ladies and gentlemen, 500 total potion ingredient growth areas. That is just nuts. Why have I decided to go for such ridiculously large farms in this series when it's just me on this world? Why not? And would you look at the amount of space we still have to work with here? Oh man, what could we fill up this space with, huh? Maybe we could put all of our paintings around here. Make our gallery here. Then it would be functional as well as aesthetically pleasing, eh? Yeah. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, though, my friends, we do have the gargantuan task of getting a bunch of background walls in here. That, my friends, is going to take quite a lot of resources, I would imagine. So, glass walls for some nice windows. Maybe something other than office block walls. I'm thinking grass walls or flowery walls. Whichever ones you can get from the Dryad. What you got for me? Oh, yeah, look at this. We've got grass walls and flower walls. It's got to be flower walls, hasn't it? And then maybe for a little bit of an accent. I mean, office walls could potentially work, but I'm thinking just box standard wood walls for a nice little accent around the windows. Yeah. All right, let's see what I can come up with here. Alrighty, that is the bottom section of walls taken care of. We've actually got the wood walls as the sort of border, and then, yeah, a whole bunch of flower walls and glass walls strewn all across that as well. So, all we gotta do is figure out a little bit of a design for the actual planter areas themselves, and then, yeah, the rest of it should be relatively straightforward. I swear, if it starts boulder raining again while I'm trying to grab a bunch of sand so I can make more glass walls for my greenhouse, oh man, am I gonna get upset. I wish there was a way of, like, permanently disabling the boulder rain in Legendary mode. Maybe there's, like, an in-game item or something. I mean, yeah, I'm not lying when I say that boulder rain is by far the most annoying part of Legendary mode. I hate it so much. At least with the bosses, you expect carnage. You don't expect the weather to go against you as well, just randomly off the cuff. Romeo the Traveling Merchant has arrived, eh? We should probably have ourselves a little bit of a break just to go see what that dude has. Maybe he's got some more building-related accessories for us. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. All right, what you got? Oh, nice! Even higher fishing power than the mechanic's rod. The sitting duck's fishing pole, 40% fishing power. My gosh, that is kind of nuts. We no longer need that bad boy, in which case. Hey, thanks, buddy. That was actually super amazing. Bricklayer. Do we already have that? Portable cement mixer, extendo grip, the paint sprayer. I'm not seeing any sign of a bricklayer. Perhaps that's the final accessory we need for that hand of creation accessory thing that you can make. I mean, if so, that would be kind of amazing and definitely not on my bingo card for today's episode. Oh my gosh, there it is. The Architect Gizmo Pack. Oh, right, the hand of creation is the upgrade from this, right? So let's go ahead and make this bad boy. And let's head on up to the guide. And now we can see how to make the hand of creation. Whoa, we're not a million miles away, my friends. The only thing missing is actually the treasure magnet. And I know that you can get those from shadow chests. And check it out, we got ourselves a shadow key. So there's the step stool, and there's the ancient chisel. The treasure magnet is the last piece of the puzzle. Alrighty, shadow chest time. How long? Oh, wait, hang on a minute. What's going on here? Oh, I need to turn that off so I can then be able to smash the vases. Yeah. Should we grab ourselves some hellstone while we're down here as well? I think that'd be a good idea. Only, you know, there's still a certain molten pickaxe which has escaped us for the longest time, hasn't it? Oh my goodness me. Make it quick, Python. Make it quick. You gotta get yourself out of here before you get absolutely flooded by lava. Ugh, sheesh. That just went from 0 to 100 in a second. Ah. Right. So, apparently, you can die by falling off of the bottom of the world, huh? I don't seem to recall that being the case in normal Terraria. Perhaps we should be just a tiny bit more careful then. I was down in the depths there trying to get myself some of the hellstone that was adjoined to the house. That's what I was doing. Alrighty, the first shadow chest has actually a hellwing bow in it. That's pretty good. Holy guacamole, that is a crazy amount of hellstone. Is it just me who thinks that these underworld houses have been, like, supersized for legendary mode? This is nuts. Look at the amount of vases we're going through here. Nice! The Obsidian Rose! Usually in my Terraria series, I have to grind like mad to get Obsidian Roses, but no, not this time. We got it nice and early on. Alright, Shadow Chest number 2. I should mention... Oh, wow, the Cascade. Nice! We're just going to go until we find the treasure magnet. I'm not going to do the entire Underworld today, because I really do just want to get the potion ingredients greenhouse going. Alright, third time lucky, right? Treasure magnet. Sun Fury. Meteorite bars. Whoa! That was a lot of gold coins right there. Nice. All right, chest number 4. There it is, the treasure magnet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. And alongside that treasure magnet, I also got myself a hellwing bow, the cascade, the obsidian rose, and over 170 bits of hellstone. So then, my friends, let's do this thing. We have the Hand of Creation. Increases mining speed by 25%. We've got increases block and wall placement speed. Increases block placement and tool range by 3. Wow, that's actually pretty substantial. Increases pickup range for items, auto paints or coats placed objects, and hold up to reach higher. What a piece of gear, my friends. What a piece of gear. Goes without saying, that would wind up going on our class 2 here, our eventual hybrid mining, building, and fishing loadout. So without further ado, it's time to get back to our greenhouse. Do you know what? Honestly, maybe we don't need to fill this top area with anything. Maybe the nice large windows I'm going to put in here will be enough. I honestly don't think we need to overcomplicate this by trying to squeeze as many different things into one build as possible. I think we should just leave this a nice large space with some nice large windows. Do you know what? One thing I haven't factored into this build is the pylon. Eventually, I'd like to relocate this forest pylon to in here, and then, you know, the center spawn will just be part of the pylon network, which is always super helpful. Where, oh where, are we going to put the pylon then? And more to the point, how are we going to squeeze in a couple of NPC houses so we can make the pylon actually work? I have a pretty unique idea here, my friends. Now, bear with me while I try to explain it. I think we use these windows as kind of a basis for the shape of some NPC houses. On the left and right will be the NPC houses, and then in the middle is going to be where the pylon itself is going to go. So, I don't know, maybe we have ourselves a little bit of a thing here. This is where the pylon actually is going to live. And then maybe we whip out some actual glass blocks and we sort of fill in the edge here, right? And then we're going to hope that we have a large enough space on the inside for this to be officially classed as an NPC house. I hope so. I really, really do. All right, fingers crossed, my friends. Are these big enough? Yeah! Wow! This is actually quite cool. I really like this little setup we've got going on up here. It kind of fits with the rest of the windows, doesn't it? Except, you know, there's a bit of a border to them. So, all we're going to do is fill in the rest of the spaces here with maybe some more windows. And then, yeah, we should be just about finished here. So then, just a couple final things left to do before calling it a day here. We've got all of our seeds here, and amazingly, we don't have any water leaf seeds at all. But yeah, we've also got ourselves some flower pots. Only I figured I could add a tiny bit more color to this build by just adding in some of these bad boys all across the place and having them grow. So then, down goes the blinky plant, and we've got that entirely full. Aw, yeah. Deathweed. All 90 spaces should be able to be filled here, my friends. And same goes with the day bloom here. The moon glow can be fully populated as well here. Amazingly, a piece of deathweed has already fully grown. Thank you very much. That's the first ever potion ingredient harvested from our brand spanking new greenhouse. But anyways, getting back to it, we've got the fire blossom here. Unfortunately, not got a great deal of that, so that's going to be something that's populated over time. Same with the shiverthorn as well. And then, yeah, water leaf, we don't have any at all. So, the next time it starts raining, we need to head ourselves over to whatever deserts are on our world and start harvesting some water leaf. In terms of who's going to live in this greenhouse, the Dryad, I mean, I think that goes without saying. Who do we want to have alongside the Dryad, though? It's usually the Witch Doctor the Dryad likes, but in terms of other folks, I'm not entirely sure. That might just be a wiki job. Ah, interesting. So the other NPC she likes is the Princess and the Truffle. So yeah, we haven't got access to any of the 3 NPCs she likes, so I think instead we might just, I don't know, put a pet in there. Maybe we could have our cat in here, why not? He can help take care of the insect population in here or something. Not that there is any, but oh well. Let's just imagine. Oh yeah, I never added the potion decorations, did I? So let's go ahead and do that. Provided we have enough buffs, that is. 28 is the magic number. We've got 25, 6. Oh wait, that's not a buff. Ah. We've got 25 out of 28 buffs. The other buffs we could probably populate the item flasks with are the higher end ones. Rage, Wrath, Endurance, that kind of stuff. Right, the big question is, can I actually put that in there? Yeah! All right! Let's go ahead and populate all of these bad boys then. Ah, interesting. As we've discovered previously, this red potion isn't actually classed as a buff. So as a result, it changes the color of the flask. So I don't think we're going to put the red potion in there. Instead, yeah, Rage, Wrath, Endurance, and then I don't know what else we might be able to make. A warmth potion or something. I dare say there's plenty of other options as well. But yeah, fact is, we have this thing done. Look at all these little potions in their flasks. This is cool. So then, my friends, to wrap up the episode, we've got the comment of the day, of course. Taco Hut 555 says, for future fishing, food buffs don't increase fishing skill, but consuming ale does. Might be worth making a keg and crafting a bunch of ale. It only lasts for 2 minutes, but it's better than nothing. Do you know, honestly, I can't say I would have thought of that, so thank you very much for turning my attention to that. In terms of the food buffs not increasing fishing skill, I must admit, I had to just check the wiki for that. Only I was always under the impression that the well-fed buffs actually do increase fishing skill, but actually, it turns out they don't. So yeah, you're quite right. So thank you very much for turning my attention to that as well. As for the creation of the ale and the keg used to make the ale, there's the keg. Now, the big question is, how do I actually make the ale? Only, I don't think I've ever actually made it before. Can you not buy it from the tavern keep? Yeah, you can. So, yeah, so long as we have ourselves a constant supply of ale on us while fishing, yeah, we might wind up being drunk fishing, but we'll have increased fishing skill as a result, somehow. So, yeah, I'll take it. But anyways, for now, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed today's episode and today's build. Let me know your thoughts in the comments area down below. But yeah, for now, my friends, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.